Hey everyone, Ryan here, and welcome to Ask MandRproductions episode 221, the series where I answer your questions. So if you have a question you want to answer on next week's episode, make sure you leave it down in the comments section below, and I just might pick it, as well as make sure you hit that like button. Anyway, let's get into it with our first question from Jackson, who says, with this year's May 4th double VIP points promo only being on select sets, intentionally excluding the expensive UCS and Master Builder Series sets, are we losing out on the possibility to ever get these more expensive sets during double VIP point promotions? I wanted to get the Cantina during this year's May the 4th to earn the double VIP points, but was once again very disappointed by LEGO. So I think it will be very telling the next time they do a VIP points promotion on everything without it being tied into them also giving away a bunch of things at the same time if they still exclude the larger, more expensive sets. That's the only way we'll be able to know, honestly, is whenever they do it the next time, if the UCS Star Wars sets are excluded or not. I don't think they will be. I think they were excluded here because LEGO felt like they were providing enough value and that they could get away with it, quite simply. However, I find myself unable to defend LEGO in that position because the profit margins, I would assume, are about the same on everything. I assume they go in and they try to, get 50% profit margin on every set. And so not offering double VIP points on a $350 set is no different than not offering double VIP points on 10 $35 sets. Like, to me, it just, from that perspective of assuming that they aren't having razor-thin profit margins on these UCS sets, which we all know they aren't. I don't know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Other than that, they are obviously just not trying to give their customers a better deal than they feel like they already are. And that's just the way it is. And I know people in the comments will defend them. They're a business trying to make money. I think we all know that, but that doesn't make it good. This next one from Justin is something that I've seen people bringing up for the past 3 years, and he says, what are your thoughts on the chance that LEGO brings back the Lord of the Rings series? I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan and collector, and it seems like there's still a pretty large market for sets on the third-party sites, as well as with the new show starting at the end of the year. Thanks, keep up the great content. So it's been rumored for a while that Indiana Jones is coming back, and I kind of think of Indiana Jones because it was released kind of in the same era. I just kind of group them together, I guess. And so the way I look at it is, if a new piece of media is coming out, there's obviously a chance. Now, there were rumors that Indiana Jones was going to come back out this summer, and those have kind of subsided because the movie got pushed back another year, so I assume the LEGO sets were also pushed back another year, assuming they're coming, I guess. And Lord of the Rings, if that's coming at the end of this year, sets would probably be coming out at the beginning of 2023. We haven't heard anything yet, but then again, there's not any 2023 rumors really yet either, so that's also worth noting. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and there just seems to be no hype on the LEGO end of things. I was pretty high on them bringing it back, but honestly, I think The Hobbit sold poorly as LEGO sets, so LEGO might be looking at that and being like, well, we might not want to do this. They might want to see if this show actually comes out and performs well, because I think The Hobbit was not very well received, and from what I've heard, at least from listening to it, I don't know very much about the lore of Lord of the Rings, but this particular Lord of the Rings show is not going to be with the main characters or something. I don't know. I just feel like LEGO might want the show to prove itself before they go out and do any building sets on it, but we'll wait and see. But I'm not very high on it. And you asked me what I thought. I'm not very high on it. Alex says, with the File First Battle Pack being as popular as it was and still is, do you think they will experiment with more Clone Legion Battle Packs like the 212th and 327th, etc.? A Wolfpack Battle Pack would be amazing, and something with the Senate Guard would be amazing too. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that, a lot of the fandom online wants these sorts of things. I see this echoed in my comment section almost every week, and the question is when, not if, I think at this point. When they go out and do something like the 187th Clone Legion, which isn't canon, and no one was asking for. I mean, yeah, obviously a few people might have asked for it, but you can't tell me there was more demand for 187th Clone Legion than there is for 212, 327th, Wolfpack, the name brands, right? And I know 187th is canon, but LEGO didn't make the canon versions, they made the Hasbro non-canon versions. Anyway, I think something like the 212th Battle Pack is probably next. And I think the optimal thing for the LEGO fans is to get a battle pack with a mixture of types of clones, but that's not what's going to make LEGO the most money here. What's going to make LEGO the most money is stretching this out as long as they can, making people wait as long as they feel like they can wait. And so, if you stretch it out over the course of 8 years, releasing 5 battle packs over the 8 years, people are going to buy a lot more than they will if they just buy, a bunch of battle packs in 1 or 2 years that the one battle pack with a bunch of different types of clones was out. They're probably not going to do that type of battle pack again. I think they're going to focus in on these legions like this, like the 501st and now the 187th with the Republic Fighter Tank, which isn't a battle pack, but unfortunately, with the options that you get as a Lego fan at this point with stuff like that. You either get the figures through buying the set, or you get the figures through buying the figures from someone else who bought the set, at which point you're still paying a lot per figure anyway. So I think in 2023, I'm going to work on my predictions video. It'll come out next month probably, but my 2023 predictions, my first one, I'll give you a little preview here. I think a 2/12 battle pack is probably on the table. Not like a $30 super battle pack. I also don't think it'll be a minifig pack like the Clone Command Center. I think it will just be a $20 battle pack. I think that, you know, they have to do a $20 clone battle pack, right? They've done the $15 minifig pack, they've done the $30 super battle pack, they've done the $40 Republic fighter tank battle pack. The $20 battle pack is back. It came back this year with the Snow Trooper battle pack, and I feel like the 2/12 is going to fit right in because of the ATTE coming out in the summer. It is very much not unheard of Lego releasing big sets in the summer, and then them very much, you know, like last year with the AT-AT, not so much the summer, I guess, but also the Republic Gunship, and coming out with smaller battle packs to kind of combine with that in the January timeframe of the next year. Now, nothing's a guarantee, though. You know, they've done plenty of sets over the summers and years past, and nothing has come of it the next year battle pack-wise. I just think, you know, looking at the way things are and the way Lego would probably think about this, they will probably actually do a 2/12 battle pack next January, and that would be sweet. Like, that to me seems very likely, but, you know, time will tell. Who knows? Space Jesus says, when will you buy a life-sized Luke's Landspeeder? You know, this reminds me of Force Friday, I think 2015, and they came out with this loot. It was $500 at the time. I did not have $500 at the time to spend on a Luke's Landspeeder, but it was like this kiddie Luke's Landspeeder, you know, for kids that they can drive around in, like the Humvees or whatever, but this one was a Luke's Landspeeder. So it was like an electric Luke's Landspeeder. It looked so sick. If I was 8 years old or 5 years old or however old you're supposed to be to fit in those things, I would have been all over it. To be honest, if they came out with one today, I would spend the $500. I would do it. I couldn't do it in 2015 or whenever it came out, just didn't have the money. But nowadays, oh, dude, it would be the greatest video. And I would totally do a comparison video of like Lego UCS Luke's Landspeeder versus Lil Tyke's electric Landspeeder. It'd be pretty sick. So I'll never buy a life-size one, of course. But the other reason I picked this question is there's currently for sale. A lot of people have been sending me messages about this. It's actually been for sale for a while, and I've thought about buying it, but I don't know. There is a life-size Captain Rex on eBay, and I think they also ended up putting it on Facebook Marketplace, but it's been on eBay for a while, for $15,000. I can't make myself spend $15,000 on a Captain Rex. If I owned a house, like if I had bought a house a year ago and was doing fine on mortgage payments, all that jazz, I would be highly considering it right now. But I haven't bought a house yet because it's impossible to buy a house. So, like, I can't, like, how can I look my parents in the face and be like, hey, we gotta, you know, I know my brother's away at college, but Rexy over here is gonna be taking up some space in my brother's room. Like, I'm sure they wouldn't care, honestly. Like, they probably would think it's kind of funny and just be like, okay, that's fine. It's out of sight, out of mind for them. I would honestly probably just put it in my storage unit, mostly saying all this for jokes. $15,000 is the biggest barrier to entry there, and it is a real shame. I wish the guy would come down in price. Also, like, going to get it, I think it's in, like, New Jersey or something. It's not close to me. Like, I would have to go get a U-Haul. I'd fly up, rent a U-Haul, and drive it all the way to Florida. I wouldn't want to do that. I would rather pay someone to ship it down here or bring it down here. But, like, yeah, probably not going to happen. I've thought about trying to get a sponsor for that, but I have not gotten any $15,000 sponsorship offers yet. So the first day I do, if it's still available, I'm taking that money and buying the Rex, and that'll be the sponsored video for it. Mahan says, what Lego sets or set makes you remember that you love Lego again? I actually have an entire shelf dedicated to this concept that I've made for myself. I've had it this way for a while, but I've got like a bunch of things up there that are like kind of important to me. Like the 501st Battle Pack is there. The 2009 Clone Walker Battle Pack is there because that one's just the coolest. We also have, my first set ever was the Twin Pod Cloud Car. Now this sealed one is just a sealed one I bought. It's not the actual first one I ever got, but it's still like the first set I ever had, so I thought that was cool. I have my YouTube play button. Hopefully maybe soon a second one from MandR Vlogs will be up there as well. We have the We Want a 501st Battle Pack brick, my MandR Sig Fig, a Toy Story alien for some reason. Of course, my fake Patriots Super Bowl ring. Kermit, I just put up there. He's not special to me. He's not supposed to be there. I'm gonna take him down after this. Oh, and I have Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Black Series Grievous. I guess those aren't Lego. Basically, Lego's lack of care forced me down the path of collecting Black Series and non-Lego collectibles, and I have enjoyed it, not gonna lie. So yeah, I got those up there too. But that's the shelf, and maybe I'll make some changes to it and dust it up here because it's kind of dusty. Joe says, I've been dabbling in buying retired sets online with varying success. As a collector, I appreciate a decently nice box, but have received UCS sets shipped naked with a shipping label smacked on the box, and other times received sets with scotch/shipping tape on them. Have you had this happen? Any tips for removing label stickers or scotch shipping tape while doing minimal damage to the box art? Am I being too sensitive about this? You've come to the right place for your affirmations, my boy. You are not being too sensitive about this. And I guess it depends on where you buy it from and how they advertise it, right? If a seller is like, as is, box damaged, like, I wouldn't buy from that guy if you want a good box, right? Like, you know, it's just, I think you're obviously walking into a bit of trouble there, and you probably know that. You seem like you're smart and know what you're doing here. But, you know, that can happen. Now, unfortunately, some people that sell stuff online, just like, they'll ship it with minimal care because they have other things going on in their life, and that's understandable, but it's also equally understandable that you wanted it to be in the condition that you thought you bought it in, and I would just try to return it at that point. Like, there's nothing they can do to fix the box, obviously, and I assume you're talking about retired sets. Like, you just got to send it back and try again with someone else. Like, there's nothing else that can be done, right? Like, if you try to take the tape off, like any type of strong tape, you can try to start slow, right? If you start slow, sometimes you can get it off and it'll be just fine. What I do is I'll like breathe on it, so you'll get hot air and like some mist, not mist, but like humidity into it. So I'll go, and then I'll try to pull the tape or whatever it is off, and sometimes that will come off fine, sometimes it won't. And once it starts to rip, like once you'll hear it or you'll see it rip the box, because you'll see the under the print and you'll see the actual cardboard or whatever, it's curtains, right? Like, that's not coming off. So if it wasn't advertised like that, I would just send it back, return it, whatever. If it was, obviously, it's your fault, but you probably weren't doing that and then coming to me and being like, oh, how did this happen? You know, it probably isn't what happened. Hopefully there'll be some people in the comments with better tips too, but I also think I've heard like a hair dryer, like you really heat it up, will help get some of those sticker things off of boxes. That's also a potential strategy for you. But other than that, I don't know too much because I've really tried to avoid buying from sellers or places that I would be worried about something coming on the box that wouldn't be what I wanted. Now, you did say, have I had this happen? Honestly, I don't know if I've ever had a Lego set shipped to me as just the box with a label on it. I have heard of that happening, but I haven't had it happen to me, very luckily. Now that I say it, it'll probably happen to me next week, but that's something I have thus far avoided. Another thing you can do is when you buy something, especially something expensive, you know, a UCS set, right? Send the buyer a message and tell them that you care. Tell them that you want it as it was shown, in the condition it was shown, or you will return it. And they will probably take a little bit of extra time and care to put a little extra bubble wrap on that, around that box or whatever. Make sure it's in a brown box. Tell them, you know, maybe make a copy paste thing for yourself where you just send it to the sellers every time you buy something, so you don't have to retype something fresh. Be like, hi, thank you for selling this to me. I just want to let you know I'm a serious collector, and, you know, I just want to receive the box in good condition, so please bubble wrap this or use packing peanuts, and do not ship it in just its box. Ship it with an outer protective box. That would probably be the best way to go about it, honestly, and a lot less hassle than having to return things. I hate returning things online. It's a pain to ship things back. Aiden wants to know, what is the best set to buy as a playset? So I think it can certainly vary. There's basically two types of playsets at this point. There's ships and scenes. One of the best playsets, or a couple of the best playsets that combine these things, they're rather expensive, are the $160 Millennium Falcon. I think it's actually currently on sale on Amazon for $128. I'll put an affiliate link in the description below. But the Millennium Falcon is an excellent spaceship to play with, but it also has that full interior. I also really, you know, it's a 2019 set now. It's pretty crazy. It's almost 3 years old. But at the time, the brand new flaps, it was just the 4 flaps that opened, so much easier than what they had in previous years. So I was pretty pleased with that from a playset perspective. It's also got nice minifigs, nice play functions with spring-loaded shooters and stuff like that. So I don't think you can really go wrong with that, or the $160 AT-AT, which has the speeder bike. It's got snowtroopers. It can obviously make it look like it's walking. Oh, and I guess I should also throw in the $160 Mandalorian Light Cruiser as a great playset. You just flip the thing up and play with it, or you have the TIE Fighter at the front that can shoot out. You've got a ton of minifigs that you can help recreate scenes from the movie with, and the big spring-loaded shooters on top. Like, I think those $360 sets right now are just fantastic playsets, and like, you would have to just pick the one you personally like better. And then on the cheaper end of things, specifically like scenery-wise, I think that the Trouble on Tatooine set, while it's a set that I feel like no one has talked about for the last year. I mean, I guess it's old news at this point, right? Like, it came out, people bought it, and like, there's nothing really else to say. but kind of low-key underrated at this point. It's fantastic playset, so if you were looking for something cheaper, I think that's a really good one to go with as well. So hopefully I've been able to help you figure out what playset you might want. I feel like I get some form of this question all the time, and I just want to reiterate, because B5 Kitty says, if LEGO were to offer you a job that would prevent you from running your channel as you would know about unreleased products, would you take it? 5 years ago, yes. 10 years ago, yes. Maybe even 3 years ago, yes. But not a chance now. I mean, it's cool to know about things that aren't out yet. And I think to me, even cooler than knowing about things that aren't out yet is like getting to know things that like never come out. Like the canceled sets or the prototypes. That to me is the way cooler stuff. Like anytime that stuff kind of slips through, it's really cool to me to get an insight into what they were working on or what could have been. Like I think that's always an even cooler thing than something that is going to come out in 6 months and is going to be old news at some point. The things that are ever shrouded in mystery to me are just cooler. But I would never want to stop making YouTube videos, so that would be a hard thing to do. And ultimately as well, it just wouldn't pay enough. Bryson wants to know what made you decide to start YouTube and what made you decide to start collecting Lego. So as with 99.9% of people, I had Lego as a child, and as with very much less than 99.9% of the people, I have stuck with it my entire life. Nothing in particular, I guess, made me decide to start collecting it other than that I was 5 years old. My grandma took me to KB Toys at the Melbourne Square Mall, and I decided for whatever reason that I liked the way that the Lego Star Wars twin pod cloud car looked. And I must have already been into Star Wars because, like, I could have picked any other theme, I guess, and I picked Star Wars. So, yeah, it just being a kid got me to start collecting, and I think that's pretty much what starts with most people. And then for most people, though, they go through, like, a dark age. So, like, they'll become a teenager, they'll get out of it, they'll get bullied out of it, whatever. Like, that's the stories that you hear, right? And then maybe come around on it college years, later high school years, or especially lately a lot of adults getting into it, which is great. So, yeah, that's how I started collecting story, though, in a nutshell. Like, I just started, right? It was nothing special. But I think what made me decide to start YouTube is kind of cool, and I know a lot of people are new to the channel, so they might not know this, so that's why I'll retell it. But essentially, it was 2006. I think I was in the 6th grade, maybe 5th grade, and some friends of mine, Drew and Zach, had a YouTube channel called The Joe and Larry Show, where their channel was Yankee Maniac 22, and the show was The Joe and Larry Show. And they were just making these, dumb, funny, whatever, skit videos of, like, them doing whatever around the house, playing characters, wearing wigs. And so I was like, that seems so cool. And I went to my friend Jojo at the time, who lives in the neighborhood, and I was like, Jojo, we should start a YouTube channel. Like, that seems so cool. And so I made a YouTube channel called Ryan and Jojo. And on this channel, we posted, my first video was a Lego Star Wars video, ironically. Like, the idea for the channel had nothing to do with Lego Star Wars, but apparently I was just so enamored. I was like, I gotta upload a Lego Star Wars video. So in true 2009 form, it was let the bodies hit the floor, and me terribly holding a camera in 240p, showing my Lego Star Wars in, like, my desk under my bunk bed. But anyway, I ended up uploading a bunch of skit videos on there, and it was such a different time on YouTube. I remember, and I was 12 years old, so forgive me. Anyway, I remember at the time going on, like, Fred's YouTube channel, and at the time there was just comment sections on YouTube channels that people could just go on and comment, and Fred was so popular that the comments were just always just rolling in. Anytime you'd refresh the page, there were 10 new comments. But most of the comments were like sub for sub, like for like, or I guess it wasn't likes at times, it was 5-star, 5-star, but it was like a lot of sub for sub, and I was 12 years old, so I was like, I'm gonna do what everyone else is doing, sub for sub, let's go! And like, I was hitting the ground floor running, gotta get my subs, and I got like 20 subscribers doing the sub for sub thing. I don't know if I actually followed through on my end, but like, that is marketing, okay? That is marketing, and I will not be told otherwise. But yeah, anyway, we did like skit videos, then I kind of transitioned into Lego content on that channel, and I really only did use the Ryan and Jojo channel for about a year and a half, almost 2 years really, and then I was like, I want a new channel because I want a new channel name, and at the time you couldn't just change your YouTube channel name, and like YouTube channel names were only one per person. Like now anyone can go and make a name of, you can use any name anytime, right? Like even if someone else has it. At the time though, you couldn't do that. Usernames were one of a kind. And so I made MandRproductions 34 because someone else already had MandRproductions, which I obviously later chopped the 34 off, which surprisingly, I was really anxious about taking the 34 off my name. Some of you guys might not know I used to be called MandRproductions 34 for David Ortiz. And like, for whatever reason, I might have had like 10 or 20,000 subs when I did it. Small potatoes. And I was like, this might ruin my channel. YouTube might like change everything. People might forget who I am. Like, I don't know. I just like was really worried about it. Obviously, it didn't matter. It might have helped, might not have, might have been nothing. But I decided to take it off, and it was a whole thing. But anyway, you asked me what to maybe decide to start YouTube. It was because some other friends in my class in 2009 were doing YouTube, and I was like, that looks fun, and that's what made me decide to start. And then all that other stuff, memories of early YouTube gets me going. Brick City Whip says, do you think LEGO will make another Cloud City set, but smaller than the previous Master Builder Series version? Episode 5 is very popular, and Cloud City has only ever been 2 sets, both of which have gained immense value. Technically, they've done like the Cloud City carbon freezing chamber, I guess, but Cloud City itself has only had 2 sets named Cloud City. So Cloud City and Hoth, I think, would both be 2 sets that would fit fantastically at $160. You could go cheaper, right? But I think for $160, you can provide a really excellent playset. You don't have to be huge Master Builder Series where it really prices out a lot of people that might want to buy a playset for their kids for Christmas, right? $350 for like a kid's Christmas gift might be a bit much, but $160 is like right in LEGO's bread and butter for high-end playsets right now. Next summer, if they do a $160 Republic Gunship, and then they also do a $160 Cloud City, right? That just works. You have your big $160 ship, like they've been doing every summer for like 3 summers in a row, and then you start putting out these big $160 play sets, and I think that would be fantastic. So Cloud City, basically in the form of the old 2003 Cloud City, but for $160, I think a lot of people would be all over. Something like a Hoth at $160, where it's just got the door, maybe it's got the shield generator, but you don't have to have all this extra stuff. No snow speeder. Well, actually, it should have a snow speeder. Never mind. Snow speeder, yes, but like just reduced UCS versions or Master Builder Series versions into $160 set works fantastically well, and hopefully it's something we'll see them kind of move into in the coming years. I guess the MandR set from 2009 is a really good example of something like that I'm thinking of in this vein, right? You had this $100 play set that it wasn't a Master Builder Series set, and it didn't need to be, and they could definitely do that with a lot of scenes like Geonosis, Hoth, and MandR. Like Geonosis, Hoth. Like the Geonosian Arena is one that I think at $160 should have happened this summer, as well as obviously Hoth and Bespin, like we mentioned already. Oh yeah, and one more thing here. Joel on Instagram sent me a picture. He said, LOL, graded Boba Fett watch. Someone literally got a Lego watch graded and is trying to sell it for $200 on eBay. I thought it was crazy last week when it was a graded foil pack, but this is too far. This is just too far. So, I don't know. Maybe I need to start getting things graded, though. If I can sell them for 10 times what they're worth just because they're graded, obviously I can't. Nobody's actually buying these for $200. But, like, bro, it's so crazy to me. Unfortunately, it might be one of those things that it doesn't matter how many of us don't like it. It's just going to continue to happen. So maybe grading is the way to go. I'm kidding. I don't know, man. It's dumb. Anyway, if you enjoyed, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you have a question on answer next week's episode, leave it down in the comments section below. I've been talking for the last 50 minutes. I'm tired. I'm going to go play Call of Duty. Bye!